What's up, YouTube? All right, guys, we are back. Day 2 of the vlog. Now, I don't know how much vlogging we're gonna get done because today there's supposed to be some serious nasty storms, and it's already, I don't know, it's about 8:30 in the morning, and it's already starting to get pretty yucky out, very windy. Some nasty storms coming in from the south, so like I said, I don't know how much we're gonna get done today, so this may end up turning into a 2-day vlog, but we'll see. I got Lou in here working on the truck right now. We're still waiting on Junebug. He ain't came back, still got that nail in his foot. Anyway, we got Lou starting to take apart some of the front things, some of the things that we got to get powder coated and whatnot. We don't do that stuff, we ship it out. So he's getting all that ready so we can get it sent out and ready, and then we'll finish stripping the truck apart. But let's go see what we got. All right, not much has changed since we left off yesterday. I don't think we've done anything else. Actually, I just started him this morning labeling and marking every part on the front, what we need. See, we're gonna send these out. These rings are already kind of pitted up, and they just do that. So we're just gonna send them out. She wants all this stuff black, so it's gonna look real gnarly. But we'll get it all marked, taken off, and sent to the powder coater. All this stuff, I believe it was done probably with I don't know, some spray paint or something. It definitely was not, it's not durable. So we're going to take this stuff off and probably try to get it done too. The side vents, I think that was about it for that stuff. But yeah, we're just gonna keep working today. Keep stripping. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow, Junebug will be back, and we can hopefully get this bed off. You know, get everything else done. I don't know. We'll probably get all the fenders and the side rails, side steps off today. Maybe the front fenders, but we'll see. All right, so Lou's way faster than me. While I was uploading the other video, he's already got this crap out. So I had to hurry up and get over here and start videoing before he dismantles this whole truck in a day. So anyway, we took a little break from dismantling because I forgot that actually the hood wasn't aligned properly. And that is something that the owner asked us to adjust. And so what we found was actually the hood was almost perfect all the way around except right here. When it was shut, it was sticking up about 1/4 inch. And we wasn't really sure what to do exactly or how to adjust that. So all we ended up actually having to do was, besides the fact that every one of those bolts on the hinges, I don't know if you can see them, need replaced, but all we had to do was loosen these 2 bolts, this hinge and that hinge bolt on the inside, and that hinge was just up too high, so it just kind of sat down about 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch. It slid down, and then we pushed it back just a little bit, and we snugged those 2 bolts up, and now we've got a hood that when it shuts, it's perfectly aligned all the way. You know, these lines here all line up back there with the cab now. So that's taken care of, but now we've got a little bit of an issue here with the latch, so that's what we're dealing with before we start disassembling this. So the latch quit catching anymore after we have already adjusted it and fixed it, but we found that they used bolts that were too long. So these aren't even the correct bolts, but they're also too long. So when you put it in there, you can see that it needs like a very short bolt. Then it'll suck that up with a washer and tighten that up. So it was actually loose, and you could pull this in and out and move it around a lot. So that was just too much. So what we're doing now is getting ready to cut some bolts. We're gonna make our own. We're just gonna take a bolt that works with that thread, run a nut on it, and then clamp it, cut it on the other side, and then back your nut off, and you'll have a good clean bolt the length you need. So it's what we're working on right this second. Now we'll back that nut back off. That'll clean up the threads at the end where we cut it, and then bam, we've got a bolt. All right guys, so we've got all those bolts replaced with ones that fit and are actually tight now. Everything is working like it's supposed to. It holds up like it's supposed to. We did have to adjust this here up. So to make sure that was the right adjustment, we loosened it up, moved it down. It wouldn't latch, moved it to the middle, wouldn't latch. So now we've got it at the top. And we're gonna try it one last time. And so you kind of push it down, and then you gotta hold that lever back right there till it gets over the lip in there. And then you just push down real hard. Cool. And we're latched, boys and girls. So we fixed that. So now we can go back over here and check this out. So we've got a really nice looking gap now. Might need just a tiny little bit of tweaking, but we are really, really close. Let's go take a look at the other side. This is the stuff that matters. Now, once this is all done, we'll mark everything before we pull it apart, and we'll know exactly how to put it back together to get it this way. This looks good to me, guys. It's very, very close. So I think we can proceed on with the door here, and that is the last thing we're gonna have to do is adjust this door. So let's try to figure it out. All right, onto the door here. We've got to figure out this hinge a little bit, and we got to try to figure out how to secure it temporarily so we can adjust all these hinges and get those right. And this hinge is just moving way too much, so we're gonna try to bust some of this out of here if we can. It might be tough. If we can get up under here and see what this is. So it looks like crud. All right, I busted out some of that filler. We found the culprit. So there's the hinge. It goes through here, and there's those missing rivets I told you held that on, like the top. So what we have here, folks, is some shoddy bodywork. They actually hammered it, filled it, and sprayed it. Not even any Duraglass, just Bondo. So it's finished rusting and caving and peeled, and now when you pick up on the door right here, you can see the whole thing. Do it again. Just wobbles and walks. So we got just a little bit of work to do here before we can finish. We're gonna have to temporarily weld this up or do something before we can finish adjusting these, or we'll never get an accurate measurement. So we'll probably take this door off and mess with this for a minute. Arrow? All right, guys, so I'm just having him knock the top off of that there so you can really get a good look at what's going on here. It's hard to see with the door hanging. It's pretty rough. So we're gonna have to finish grinding all that filler out, and then we're gonna have to weld all that back up. That's the only way to do it. The actual metal isn't in bad shape, so I'm not sure what they were doing. So I'm just gonna fix it all the right way, weld it, and then probably won't even need much filler. So, but I feel like we're gonna have to strip it on down into here because it might be busted on back down to here. So we'll have to figure out how far it actually goes. So that's what Lou's gonna work on now, figure out what we gotta weld up. All right, guys. All right, so here it is. We had to flip the door over to make sure like I said, we're gonna temporarily weld this up firm where it needs to be. Then we're gonna be cutting that crap out and patching it at a later point. But we gotta get this firm where it needs to be so we can set these gaps before we proceed. So we started stripping and we got over here. My gosh, I can fit my whole finger down in here. I ain't even kidding. There's a lot of filler. So what they did was, this is actually cracked here and here. So they just filled it. Instead of putting that back with a hammer and then welding it back in place, you see how far this moves? That's what's wrong here. So we're gonna clean the rest of this up, tap this back over, weld this back up firm, weld this stuff up back up firm, and then we can put the door back on and try it. See where we're at. Right? Need to turn the voltage down? Just a little bit. All right, so we got that tacked around there. She's a little warm, but we hammered it and tacked it in place exactly where it needs to be. A lot more firm on this side. Now we're still gonna have to tack it over here. We're there. A little grinding, we can test it. All right, boys and girls. She's ground down. Nothing's gonna hit on the inside of the door. This still looks like butt. We'll take care of that in a little bit. Like I said, we're not leaving that. Don't think that. This was temporary. We had to fix all this. That is permanent, so that's all welded up. It'll need to ground a little bit more to look like that one, nice and clean, but that's how our door should be, I do believe. And now our hinge fits exactly and doesn't rock anymore. So it looks like we can probably put it all back together. And I've already tweaked on the bottom hinge over here a little bit with a crescent wrench because I knew it needed a slight tweaking. So I put that on there like that and just slightly move it. I just moved it maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe less, I don't know. I'll just do it in little increments till we get it back to where it needs to be and our gaps are right. All right, so we got it on and we figured out basically that it's close. I did tweak it just a little bit more. So I think we're gonna have to tweak it also just a little bit more, but it's very close. The hinge is gonna be exactly where it is now as far as this part. So the rest of our adjustments is gonna be here. Like I said, I do believe that's from this door probably just swinging open way too hard at one time. And that's why it was busted out around here and here. But we're close. We're closer than we were a few minutes ago. Like I said, a few more minor adjustments. See, our gaps back here are just a little wide. But it's pretty wide all the way up. So we've got a few adjustments to do up here at the front. And then we'll come back here in just a second. All right, guys, so we're working our rears off right now to try to get all the rest of this crap done today, so we're not wasting another day. The next day we can finish disassembly, but this door's kicking our rear. So we've got it to where everything lines up perfect, front to back. The latches, everything works like it's supposed to. Okay, we've got perfect gaps now. You see that? Okay. Now where the problem's coming in, what I believe is right here. So the bottom of the door is in and needs to come out, which is an adjustment on this hinge. So in order to get these out, we're gonna have to heat them because they're half warped, I mean messed up, partly stripped, junk. So we're gonna have to take this stuff out, disassemble some of this, and we're gonna actually have to put propane on these, a map gas, whatever we got, heat this up and try to break these threads so we can get them loose, because it's gonna have to come out. Because what's happening, unlike the other side, which goes perfect, as soon as you get this door to right here, now it'll still shut, don't get me wrong, but there's a little bit of pressure, and it shouldn't have that much pressure. The other side doesn't have that. And so if you look at it, the door is pushing out in the front, so it's hitting in the front, we've determined, which tells us we need to bring this out, and it'll also make that door line up in the front. But we're having a heck of a time, so we're going to try to tinker with this for a few minutes, and hopefully we figure this out. All right, guys, so we got everything fixed. We did exactly what we said we was going to do, and heated that stuff up. Had to make a few adjustments, but now we've got it exactly where it needs to be. We have no more popping, springing action, way too much pressure. It actually goes exactly where it needs to go. You can click it on the first latch, just like so. Okay, just like the other side. You can shut it and latch it. Our gaps are perfect. Our body lines are perfect. We got good pop when we pull the handle. Exactly where she needs to be. These gaps are good. I think we are done, guys. I literally think we've spent this is about 16 hours now, just adjusting, fixing, and doing stupid stuff like this. I hate doing this stuff. It's time consuming. It takes forever. There's lots of cutting, grinding, welding, but this is the important stuff. This is what matters. If we have to do this after it's painted, you're gonna have a mess on your hands. So get all this stuff done now. Make sure all your stuff lines up. That way here in a little bit after this is painted, put the door up there and you slide 2 pins in, you shut the door and it's done. Same with the tailgate and the rest of it. So I hope you guys have learned something. I hope you've been able to kind of see our idea and how we adjust things or make things fit, or how we see how they fit, I guess. If you learned something, hit that like button. Make sure you hit the share, the subscribe. If you hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get our next video. This will conclude part 2 of the video, or of the build, of the vlog. So day 2 is done now. We will probably get it cut and uploaded in the morning, and you guys will be able to see it. Like I said, tomorrow it'll be fully stripping this thing, so we're pretty proud of it.